Tables make text more visually appealing and easier to read by arranging it into rows and columns. Each segment or box within a table is called a cell. Tables offer several advantages over arranging text using tabs and indents. For instance, when we use tables, we can easily rearrange and adjust the size of the cells, rows, and columns. The text then fits neatly into each cell of the table, and the text outside of the table is unaffected. If a text item doesn't fit on a single line, the table automatically creates a new line or word wraps within the cell, creating a larger cell of text. Tables are also attractive to the reader because they organize the information in a way that is easy to scan and review. We are going to create a table for the text area of text in our document called Your Chairs. We'll put the title in one column and the information in the second column. There are several ways to create a table. We'll start by converting some existing text into a table form. Scroll down and highlight the headings and paragraphs under the Your Chairs title. The best place to access table settings is under the Insert tab in the ribbon, so select it. Click the down arrow for the Table tool. Because we have text highlighted, the grid at the top of the gallery is grayed out. It won't let us insert a blank table right now. Click the option Convert Text to Table. This opens the Convert Text to Table window. Our first task is to decide how many columns we need. Let's use 2. One for the title and one for the information, so enter 2. The number of rows option is not available because it is being set by the amount of text we have selected. This is a feature we would use if we were starting a table from scratch before we put new text in it. The next section is Auto-Fit Behavior, which tells our table how wide to make the columns. We have 3 choices here. The first one is Fixed Column Width, in which both our columns would be the same size. The box on the right lets us set the size of each column. The next option, Auto-Fit to Contents, means the size of the information in the cells will determine the size of the columns. The third option, Auto-Fit to Window, extends the table from margin to margin. Since our material contains 1 or 2 word subtitles, let's allow the table to determine the size of the columns. Click the radio button next to Auto-Fit Contents. Notice our text is separated by paragraphs with no extra lines in between. If we had extra lines, the table would read these as additional columns to add. We'll leave this bottom section as it is with paragraphs selected. Click OK, and here is our table. There are other ways to create tables in Word. Unselect our new table by clicking anywhere on the document. Place the cursor under the table and hit the Enter button to add a new line. Click the Table tool under the Insert tab again. Drag the cursor over the grid to choose how large of a table we wanted, such as 4 by 5. When we release the mouse, the table appears in the grid we selected, and the Table Tools ribbon appears. The Table Styles area lets us apply borders and shading to our table without needing to change the cells one by one. Click the down arrow next to the styles. We get access to dozens of built-in style options such as different colors in different cells. For example, the top cell might be a different color from the rest of the table, and the rows might alternate in lighter color. If we choose one of these options, we could fine-tune which colors appear where, using the Table Style Options tool area to the left. Move the cursor over the table styles and watch the table we just created to see how it looks. These styles apply to a newly created table with no information, but we can also apply these formats to our existing tables. Click in the new table and undo by pressing Ctrl-Z until the table disappears. Click inside the first cell of our table. The Table tool heading appears again with the 2 tabs in the ribbon, Design and Layout. Click Design. The Table Styles gallery opens again, ready to be applied to our existing table. We are going to select Table Contemporary, which is 2 across and 3 down. When we click away from the table, it appears the table is just too colorful for our memo. Let's do a couple of other things to spruce up our table. Undo by pressing Ctrl-Z. Place the cursor along the line at the top of the first column. When the solid down pointing arrow appears, click the mouse once. This highlights the text in that column. From the Home tab, click the Bold tool in the Font tool area. This bolds all of the text in that column. Click Design from the Table Tools tab. Instead of using a style, we're going to set the color manually. Click Shading Tool in the Table Styles tool area and select a light gray color from one of the squares on the color chart. We're back at our table with a shaded background in the left column. Now that we're comfortable with the design tools, let's look at the Layout tab. With our left column still selected, click Layout. All of the tools in this tab deal with our table setup and structure. The Alignment area lets us deal with the text inside the cell. Click the Alignment Top Center tool. All the headings in the left column immediately align to the center and top of their cells. In the Rows and Columns tab, we can add and remove cells, rows, and columns. Merge or split the cells we already have, or split the table itself. In the Cell Size area, we can reset rows and columns. The Data area lets us sort the information in each row. The Repeat Headers Rows icon inserts the heading on longer tables that extend to multiple pages. We have an icon to convert text, which we worked with earlier in this lesson. And we can add a formula to a table of numbers to get totals and subtotals. Save your document and we'll move on to the next section, Macros.